What's good, peeps? What is good? I've literally just got back from TalkSport where I was covering Jim White's show from 10 to 1. If you didn't know that and you didn't listen or you forgot, you can tune in tomorrow. I'm on there tomorrow as well with Darren Bent, which should be fun. So yeah, 10 to 1 tomorrow, me and Darren Bent. If you're not doing anything and you want to hear us talk about football and other stuff, tune in tomorrow. All right, I've absolutely no idea what we're talking about. I just wanted to do a video and talk some boxing. No doubt, as always, we'll find some stories to have a good old chinwag about. You know what? I didn't do a video about. It's a bit old news now. Well, the fight is old news anyway. But Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev done 700,000 pay-per-view buys, or around that. I think it was 650 to 700. What does everyone think about that figure? Good or bad? I personally think that's a solid figure, like very, very solid. For a couple of reasons. I don't think Pulev was a great B-side. I don't think the undercard was fantastic. I mean, it had some good fights. I was very interested in all the fights on the undercard, but no one there is a big needle mover on the undercard. What was it? Huey Fury, Maris Vac. That's not going to move many needles, although it was a fun fight in the end. Or I thought Huey Fury's performance was good anyway. Lawrence Okoli, it was supposed to be Glowacki. It wasn't. Maybe if it was Glowacki, that might have done something. And then you had Bakoli Kuzman, which, yeah, it's not going to, again, we're not talking about something that's going to move the needle. So it really was all about AJ. I think Pulev done okay to sell it a bit, right? Pulev was getting in AJ's face in the press conference and the weigh-ins, and I think he got people a bit intrigued, but it was all about AJ. And I think 700,000 buys at a more increased pay-per-view price as well of $24.95. I say increased, AJ has had that price point before with the AJ Ruiz fight, but it's usually $19.95. So I think 700,000 is pretty good. I'm trying to think what AJ Povetkin and AJ Takam, I could check it, but I'm just too tired. I think they done around 800-900. So there's a bit of a slippage there, but I think all in all, I think 700,000 is pretty good. And let's see what kind of number he does next. Obviously, it's going to be dependent upon his opponent. If it's Fury, 4 million. Saying it here, saying it now, 4 million, and it will be at something like 30 quid, maybe even a bit more. If it's Usyk, it'll be 1.2 million. It'll still be at 24.95. What do you guys make of that figure? Happy? Expected more? For me, that's exactly what I was thinking it would be. Again, it was a good undercard for me, but in terms of attracting the casuals, I don't know if the people on the undercard do that. So, yeah, I think it was pretty solid for what has been, for what was AJ's first fight in nearly a year. All right, let's just run through some news and let's see where this video takes us. Demetrius Andrade willing to take pay cut to fight Billy Joe Saunders. I saw this interview. I think it was with Chris Mannix, if I'm not mistaken. So basically the situation with Demetrius Andrade is almost a desperate one now. He definitely doesn't want to fight Liam Williams. And that's not because he's scared of Liam Williams. I'm not going to go down that route at all because I would make Demetrius Andrade a favourite. But it's almost like I don't want to fight Liam Williams. Like, Liam Williams does nothing for me. He's desperate now to fight someone that means something. And with Billy Joe Saunders, it will mean going up to 168 and it will mean challenging for a belt. So he could become, a free weight world champion. Demetrius Andrade could be a free weight world champion, which is crazy. But that's what he wants. He wants the Billy Joe Saunders fight. And he has said he would be willing to take the same money that he's going to get paid to fight Liam Williams to fight Billy Joe Saunders. So that might be a considerable amount cheaper. Not a huge amount, by the way. Bear in mind that Liam Williams is a mandatory fight, so Liam Williams is only going to get paid, 20% or 15% of the purse or something like that anyway. So it's not a huge difference, I don't think. But Billy Joe Saunders is a bigger fight. Billy Joe Saunders, I don't think, is ducking Demetrius Andrade. Billy Joe Saunders just wants the Canelo fight. And it looks like he's in line to get the Canelo fight. So you can understand why Billy Joe Saunders is going radio silence on this one, just because he really wants the Canelo fight. That's all he wants. He doesn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. Why would you want to fight Demetrius Andrade for, I can't even think of a figure, let's just say £1 million. It might not even be that. When you can fight Canelo, the biggest fight that can be made for you right now, and get 7 times that, right? You could get 6-7 million to fight Canelo. So it's not going to happen for Demetrius Andrade. It looks like he will have to fight Liam Williams. Again, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know where I am with Demetrius Andrade. He's just had, he is a 2-weight world champion. He's unbeaten. But again, you go through that resume and it is very, very thin, very thin. So you can see why he's looking for a big fight. There are other fights out there. He should maybe start calling out some other guys. Like, he really should be focusing on Charlo, but we'll see. That's someone in his weight category that's got the WBC belt. That's not a bad B side if you, sorry, it's not a bad second fight if you don't get Billy Joe Saunders. That's what I meant to say. De La Hoya, Garcia is in different category than Campbell is used to. Could even stop him. We'll wait and see. Not long left, right? Not long left. I'm hearing that some good news about this fight for UK fans is that the fight will be shown at 11 p.m. UK time. So I am definitely 100% doing a watch along for that. I don't know how successful that's going to be. You guys just watching me talk about the fight as it's happening, but then we'll go from the watch along automatically into like a post-fight wrap. So it'll be quite a long one. So I'm definitely going to do that just because of the time. I think it's a great time. The actual fight card starts at 8 p.m, which is, again, phenomenal. It starts at 8 p.m, ends at 11, or ends when the fight ends. So that's good news for us UK fight fans. With regards to what De La Hoya says, again, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea how this fight's going to play out. He could look really good and embarrass Luke Campbell, or Luke Campbell could do the same to him. I have no idea. Adrien Broner, I'm working towards my goals and dreams, no matter how hard it may be. I don't know if you guys saw Clarissa Shields done a live, Instagram live, I think about 2 days ago. Go and check her page. And she's talking about Adrien Broner. She's like, we all like to dig Adrien Broner when he does things silly. Right now, he's been through something. I don't know if it's depression or mental health. And right now he's trying to get back to where he wants to be, like mentally and physically. So look, it's a long way back because I'm hearing that he's very, very big right now. But good luck to him, right? I mean, she's right. We do like to go at someone when they don't do shit. If someone is trying to do their hardest to come back and fix the wrongs they've done, then let's kind of, I don't know, give them some support. So good luck to Adrien Broner and whatever he is looking to do next. He's still a name. He'll still get fights. He's just that guy. Like, if Adrien Broner can comfortably, I say comfortably, but if he can make 147, I dare say even 140, there's so many fights out there. He still would be the biggest cash cow at 140. It wouldn't be Ramirez. It wouldn't be Josh Taylor. It would be Adrien Broner. So there's still good opportunities there for him. This fight between Ioka, is it Ioka or Ioka, and Tanaka. I don't know who's televising this fight because there is no US televised option, it looks like. Remember, the fight happens on Friday or the early hours of Saturday morning. Great fight, by the way. Tanaka, legit. If you guys don't know too much about them, and I can understand why you wouldn't, just save about 20 minutes of your time right now, go onto YouTube, like literally stop everything you're doing and just watch him fight. I mean, legit. Very, very legit. 2 seconds. What else have we got here? Bit about Luke Campbell dismissing Ryan Garcia's training clips. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Beterbiev has tested positive for COVID. His title defense versus, I think it was Dennis, has been postponed. Boy, oh boy. Povetkin's promoter thinks that Usyk is too small for Joshua Fury Wilder. He's too small for Joshua and Fury, I believe, even though he gives them both good fights just because he's a very good boxer. He's not too small for Wilder. Wilder's tall, but Usyk isn't too small for Wilder. Wilder's not that big at all, not that big. And I genuinely believe that Usyk's boxing ability and the way in which he moves around the ring could cause Wilder all sorts of problems, all sorts. Like, he will clip Wilder. Wilder could clip him, but he will clip Wilder. And let's not forget as well, I mean, Usyk has fought some very big guys as an amateur. I mean, this is not like, I know we like to say he's a cruiserweight, but he fought some very big guys as an amateur, so the size ain't going to faze him. He spars guys this big now, so he's fine. Andy Ruiz, training hard for New Year, already dropped 20 pounds. All right, cool. Andy Ruiz's weight at Ruiz Joshua 2 was a disgrace. What was it, 298 pounds or something? Considering that he was 265 pounds the first time they fought. That's ridiculous. He might just have an eating problem, you know. Like, as much as I diss him, he might just have an eating disorder. I don't know. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Do you remember there was a picture which was clearly then duped and photoshopped of him. This is prior to AJ Ruiz 2, where he's sitting next to Michael Hunter. And I'm not joking, he looks about 240 pounds, 230 pounds. That was obviously clearly done as some sort of selling point to say, oh my God, he's in shape. When clearly at the time, he was probably walking around at 300 pounds plus. Boy. I saw something very interesting and it's just skipped me. That was it. Timothy Bradley saying, Errol Spence looking for money with Canelo has no intention of fighting Crawford. Maybe, you know, I've gone with the logic that he wants to do a 65-35 or a 60-40. He just doesn't want to give Crawford 50-50. Maybe he's handlers. Maybe he doesn't want to fight Crawford. I don't see that in Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence will fight Crawford. I think the Canelo thing that Bradley's talking about here is so far in the future. It doesn't even make sense right now. One's at 168, one's at 147. It's a 20 pounds different. It's not like they can meet in the middle either, right? You know, there'd be no meet in the middle. The lowest Canelo will go is 160, and we've not even seen Errol fight at 154. So, like, yes, Spence might be looking at that in the future, but for now, I definitely feel like he's got his eyes on Terence Crawford. It's just a case of they have to agree some money. That's just kind of what it is for me. So we'll see what happens with that. Anything else? Errol Spence here saying that Pacquiao fight is up to Pacquiao. He likes the Ugas fight, and that could be where he goes next, by the way. He's a real fighter. Ugas is a real fighter. Spence will beat him, but he's a good fighter. He doesn't know too much about Furman. Those are the, like, as much as I want Crawford to be the next guy, I feel there's more chance of the Furman fight happening than the Crawford fight. But I do think the next one will likely be Ugas, depending upon when Errol wants to get back in the ring. If Errol wants to get back in the ring early, and I mean early is in March, April, which he should do, I think, then it will be Ugas. If he stretches it out a bit longer and just wants that kind of big super fight, then it probably will be Furman. I wasn't even going to say Crawford there, probably Furman, if I'm honest with you. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. 2 secs. Anthony Joshua here on Tyson Fury's fight saying, I promise you it will happen. I want to get excited and say, yeah, you know, okay, but I don't know, man. I think that there's some chance of it now, just because I'm hearing things like AJ saying he will fight Fury twice, then circle back and fight for his WBO title. So he's basically almost trying to give hints away that he's happy to relinquish that belt now and will fight for it again. So I like that talk. I like, don't let belts get in the way. I know I've said this so many times, so I hate repeating myself, so apologies, but don't let belts get in the way of this. This is too big. This is so much bigger than belts, this fight. So let's see. Negotiations are definitely happening behind the scenes. There's no doubt in my mind that there is negotiations. Wilder could be a problem just because Wilder is still going through the court system in America to try and make sure he gets that third fight. I can see if Wilder does go through the courts and they do say, no, Wilder has to fight for the WBC, then again, it could be a case of just vacate. Fury would probably get in and around £20 million to fight Deontay Wilder. He will triple that with a AJ fight. And why would you want to fight Wilder again when in your head you beat him the first time and then you've embarrassed him the second time? So I think Fury could just say, F the belts. He really could do that. And he'll do what he's always done, which is say things like, I'm the lineal champion anyway. The belts don't mean nothing. I feel like Fury will do that. All right, so a couple of more quick stories before we vacate the building. Joseph Agbeko stops Alberto Comey in 5th round in Accra, Ghana. Didn't even know Joseph was still fighting. Joseph must be about 40, 41. Former IBF champion, if you guys don't know, at bantamweight, I believe. Got some good wins. Got some good wins over Darshinian. Fought Abner Mars. Didn't beat Abner Mars, but fought Abner Mars. Fought Rigondo. That went to points. I don't know if he's trying to make a late run, but we'll see what he does. Joseph Parker hoping to claim WBO ranking of Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is number 2 in the rankings now. So it's Usyk, Joyce, then it's Parker. Obviously, Joseph Parker's got this fight coming up with Junior Farr, which will have fans there. I don't know how beating Junior Farr puts you above Joe Joyce, but at the same time, I don't even know how Joe Joyce is number 2. I have no idea how the rankings work, honestly. I sometimes I feel like, I must have said this before, but I sometimes feel like a governing body would come and look at boxing and just think, what is all this? Like, how have you been allowed to move the sport so corruptly for so many years? Like, I don't know how Joe Joyce is number 2. Like, I'm guessing Dubois had some sort of ranking then or something. I don't know. But in saying all that, I actually like Joe Joyce, but he shouldn't be number 2 in the rankings. I think Andy Ruiz is like number 5. Andy Ruiz was a former champion, only lost once in terms of lost to AJ, obviously lost to Joseph Parker, but lost. So he should still, I think, retain a higher ranking than someone like Joe Joyce, who hasn't even fought for a title. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. 2 seconds, what else have we got here before we pack? Dimitri Bivol will explore Gilberto Ramirez clash in 2021. If I'm Bivol, I get my ass down to 168 as quick as possible. These fights are just not, that's not exciting, is it? And that's no disrespect. Gilberto Ramirez is an unbeaten fighter, was the former 168-pound WBO champion. It's just not, it's a good fight, but I just don't set the world alight, does it? Like, I will tune in, no doubt, but it doesn't really do much for me, if I'm honest with you. Right, last couple of bits here. Have I done all these stories already? I don't even know. I don't think so. Miguel Bichel vows to test the jaw of Oscar Valdez. Go for the knockout, no doubt. He will go for the knockout. I pray to God. I like Valdez, but I pray that he beats Valdez and then calls out Gervonta Davis. Will Gervonta take that fight? I'd like to think he would, but I just think his handlers won't want to steer him towards Miguel Bichel. I think if he beats Valdez and he doesn't get the Gervonta fight, he goes up to 135, and then 135 just gets thicker and thicker. It's going to be one of the thickest divisions, especially when you're talking Shakur Stevenson. I think Leo's going to go up. Don't forget Richard Comey. Don't sleep on him. Loma's still there. So there's a few. There's a few. Even Gary Russell Jr. has spoken about going up. Last bit here. Sometimes I don't know if I've covered some of these stories in old news. Canelo Golovkin 3 could happen at 168. GGG's not getting favours, says Reynoso. I actually didn't think that would be a GGG favour. I think Canelo's best weight is 160, not 168. He's giving away so much at 168. And I actually think GGG would look better at 168. It's funny, I know he looked really good on the scales against Zaramata, but I still think he should have moved up in weight class a couple of years back, maybe even longer than that. As soon as he fought Canelo the first time around, I know he wanted the rematch, but I think 168 should have been there for the taking for him, especially when we talk about just cementing your legacy. And if he were to have won a belt at 168, then that would have been definitely something cementing his legacy. So I don't think it's necessarily an advantage, but look, we'll see. Let's just hope the fight, I would like to see Golovkin face someone else before Canelo, but if not, then let's see what happens. If Billy Joe Saunders gets the Canelo fight, I do wonder what Golovkin will do in the interim. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think who out there really. I mean, obviously he's gone the Derevyanchenko route already. He's had the fight against Danny Jacobs. I mean, Charlo's out there. Demetrius Andrade is out there. Chris Eubank Jr. is out there. So those are fights that can be made. I just wonder if he's going to go that route. Or maybe he might just jump to 168 and fight someone out there. Caleb Plant's out. He's got a belt. So, look, loads to happen. Let's see what happens, though, in the next year of boxing. Peace!